In this video, we are going to fix one of the most common Selenium errors, which is called as stale element reference exception. If you have worked with Selenium, you have definitely faced this issue. But after this video, you will know exactly how to fix it. Before that, can you tell me what is stale element reference exception and why does this occur? So this error happens when Selenium finds an element, but before you interact with it, the DOM gets updated. As a result, the reference to that element becomes stale, meaning the element is still on the page, but Selenium is pointing to an old reference. So let's discuss this with an example, and I'll show you the various ways in which you can deal with stale element reference exception. So for that, let's consider this particular URL, which is again heroku.com dynamic content. So if we see this URL in Chrome browser, let's launch this. Yeah, so this is the UI of that particular link. Now, here, what you are seeing is some random content present in all these three paragraphs. So, if we inspect this right, so here we'll get to see its location in the DOM. Now, let's consider this particular paragraph. We are inspecting it and we got this particular location. Now, let's say what happens is if we do a click here, if we click on this particular link, so what happens is this particular text got changed now. However, if you see, the attribute and the tag remains the same, but the text mentioned inside it gets changed after clicking on click here button. So this is the perfect example to demonstrate stale element reference exception, where the element is present in the screen, or you can say in the DOM. Selenium is also able to locate it, but the reference has been changed now. So with reference, what I mean is the text basically what we saw initially. So after clicking on click here, it got changed. Let me explain you this whole thing with an example. So let me open up my PyCharm ID. Okay. So over here, we have this particular line which will launch up this dynamic content, and we are trying to identify the element with this particular XPath. So if we copy this XPath, right, we will see at which particular section of DOM it's highlighting. So we go to our Chrome browser, and here we'll do a Control F. So this particular section is getting highlighted. So we have identified this particular element, or you can say the paragraph in this page, with the help of this particular XPath. Okay. And what we are doing is we are then trying to do a click on this click here link, which is present over here. So for that, we have identified it using link text, and here we have given its value as click here, and we are doing a click. Now what's happening is after doing a click, as we have seen, the content of this particular paragraph got changed, and then after that, what we are doing is we are trying to get the element of this particular paragraph which we've identified it before doing a click here operation, correct? So idea is at this particular line of code we should be getting a stale element reference exception. So let's find out. So this will launch up the Chrome browser, which it did, and the specific URL. Okay, so here we are seeing some different text as of now, and after doing a click, it is trying to retrieve the text of that particular element, but instead it gave this error: stale element not found. Now, to fix this particular exception, there are certain ways which I'll be describing one by one. So let's go with the first way. So the first way is, so here what we did, we've after this sleep time. So first we are doing a click here, and then we are waiting for some time, and then again we are relocating the element after the DOM is getting updated, right? So initially what we were doing, that we before doing a click here operation, we were finding out the XPath for that particular paragraph. But with this new approach, we are trying to find the XPath after the DOM is getting updated. So if we go with this particular approach, so see, it has updated the DOM, but now we are able to successfully get the text out of it. Initially, we were getting the stale element reference exception, right? Now we are able to get the text out of it. So this is one approach. Now the second way is to what we can do. We can use the WebDriverWait for this. So what we are trying to do over here is we are first waiting and then trying to relocate that particular element. So sometimes what happens if we do a click here operation, in most of the cases, the DOM takes some time to get loaded completely. So here we are doing explicit wait. So we are waiting until the presence of element located by this particular XPath is identified, right? So this is, you can say, a more robust technique where it will wait for the DOM to get loaded completely. Because what happens if the DOM takes a significant amount of time to get loaded and you are not waiting for that, again you'll get a stale element reference exception, or you can encounter element not found exception even. Okay, so this will be a more robust approach, I would say. So let's find out if we are able to do that. So we do a run over here. So it has opened the Chrome browser and it has launched the URL, and see, yeah, we are able to get the text out of it. Okay, so basically the idea is, in order to handle this tail element reference exception, which occurs when the DOM gets loaded abruptly and our Selenium is able to find the element, but it's an old reference, so we get this tail element reference exception. So make it a point that whenever you find that the DOM is getting loaded abruptly by doing any kind of operation, in our case it was like after clicking on click here link, the text was getting changed, or the DOM was getting loaded. So you make it a point that wherever the DOM is getting loaded, from there on you do the operation. So as what we did, after doing a click here operation, then we've identified the XPath. So what happened, the DOM was already got loaded, and from now on whatever we are finding out, Selenium will be able to find its reference also and the element also properly. So this is how we can deal with the stale element reference exception. So this is it for today, guys. And there will be other videos also where we'll be dealing with other kinds of exceptions which we usually get while working with Selenium. So stay tuned, and if you have not subscribed up till now, subscribe this channel to get some more interesting videos. Thank you.